Sani, mi ciamo Andy. Come vai? Hello, my name is Andy. How are you? Let's talk about the Venetian language.
Veneto, la lingua veneta.
Venetian is a Romance language spoken in the northeastern Italian peninsula, mainly in the present-day Veneto region, where most of the more than 5 million inhabitants can understand it. It has its own grammar, lexicon, literary tradition, and a syntax that sometimes is more similar to that of English than other Romance languages. Other languages of the peninsula are often incomprehensible to each other, such as Italian derived from Tuscan and others. Venetian has influences from Greek, Latin, and Germanic languages. Venetian is sometimes spoken and often well understood outside the region, such as in Trentino, Friuli, the Julian March, Istria, and some cities in Slovenia, Dalmatia in Croatia, and the Bay of Kotor by a surviving indigenous Venetian population, and in Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Mexico, the United States, and the United Kingdom by Venetians in the diaspora. The Latin alphabet is used. Single letters can be found as in Polish L, although the ancient Venetians, often called Venetic or Paleo-Veneti, used their own alphabets. There are some differences in the Venetian spoken in each part of Veneto, and there are also dialects such as Talian, originated by Venetian immigrants in Brazil. However, many still speak classical Venetian there. Fiuman, spoken in the Croatian city of Fiume. Triestin, spoken in Trieste and surrounding areas. Chiplo, spoken by a small community in Mexico of Venetian immigrants. And Judeo-Venetian, an extinct language spoken by Venetian-Jews. We can also find people in Brazil calling it Tyrolean or Trentino dialect, which may be derived from Venetian or is often Venetian itself, not to be confused with Tyrolean derived from Bavarian. Venetian is an internationally recognized language with its own ISO 6933 code, which is VEC. The Venetians live in the northeast of the Italian peninsula, in what is now the Veneto region, and have a rich cultural history dating back to antiquity. Descending from the ancient Venetian, it is reported that they may have come from the Umber route, coming from regions of Lusatia and around, and also after the Indo-European diaspora, then began to inhabit the region known as Veneto, which in ancient times was of much greater proportions. Since the first millennium BC, they have developed an identity marked by Celtic, Roman, Germanic, and Byzantine influences. Over the centuries, the Venetians have excelled in trade, navigation, and arts, especially during the heyday of the Republic of Venice, which was one of the greatest maritime powers of the time. Being the Veneto, the lingua franca of the seas and trades, we can cite the famous Battle of Lepanto in which the Republic of Venice participated, preventing the forces of the Ottoman Empire from dominating Europe. After the Napoleonic invasion and destruction and persecution during the creation of the Italian state, during the Risorgimento, the Veneto language and culture suffered difficulties, resulting in high-scale immigration. Today, they maintain strong cultural traditions, a language, literature, cuisine, music, and own fashion, also with a spirit of patriotism. The Venetian people are mostly Christians. The Venetian culture is marked by a rich historical heritage, influenced by its strategic location and the legacy of the Republic of Venice. Known for their entrepreneurial spirit, the victors stood out in commerce, navigation, and the arts, leaving a significant impact on architecture, painting, and music. Venetian cuisine is diverse, with dishes such as risotto, bacala vicentina, and tiramisu, as well as seafood dishes and other festive dishes such as fritoe, rize-bizi, schietti, and poenta, and others. Wine is a must. Traditional festivals such as the famous Venice Carnival and artistic expressions such as theater and opera are parts of the Venetian cultural identity. We can mention several figures such as Carlo Goldoni, Antonio Vivaldi, Marco Polo, Andrea Palladio, important leaders like Sebastian Venier and Andrea Gritti, artists like Tintoretto, Lorenzo Lotto, Canaletto, and Bragolin. Instruments such as the violin, accordion, baga or piva veneta, a wind instrument, are present. Typical costumes such as tabaro and tabard, as well as specific hats, are also notable. In addition, the Venetian language, still widely spoken, plays an important role in preserving regional traditions and identity. In the next part, let's listen to the beautiful sounds of their language. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Declaração Universal dei Diritti Umani. Artigo 1. Tutti gli esseri umani nascem liberi e compagni, per dignità e diritti. Iores dotai de ragione e de consciência e da comportar-se tra di iori coi spirito de fradei.
Numbers.
In numeri. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Greetings and phrases.
Saúde e frase. Benvenuto, benvenesti, Sani, ciao, bom dia, bom pomesdì, buonasera, buona serada, buona notte, come vai, come zeia, come vala, come zela, sto ben mi e ti, mi nome vui mia, come te chami tu, mi me chamo, onde abito, mi abito, è un piacere conoscerti. Parli di tuo Veneto? Sì, no, grazie, gramerse, de niente. Trincar, migo capiu, nogo mia capiu, scusami, chai, come dizemos in Veneto? Por favor, benon, pardon.
Vocabulary.
Vocabulário. Mi, ti, you, lu, ela, ea, noialt, voialt, vu, eori, lori, eore, lore, questo, questi, sto, sti, questa, queste, sta, ste, quello, quello, quei, quelli, quea, quella, quei, quelle, qua, chi, chive, la, ya, li, gli, pare, puppa, mare, mama, nono, nona, fradel, sorelle, sorella, fiol, fioia, fiola, popol, maschio, femmina, amigo, mistro, scoiaro, occhio, reccia, naso, nas, dente, dent, den, testa, cabello, cavello, cabello, muso, mus, man, pie, can, gat, porceio, porcelo, porcel, vaca, piegora, piegorum, caval, cavalo, cavallo, sorzeto, moreia, poiastro, polastro, ozello, ozeo, ozel, pesse, pes, fior, erba, alboro, arbol, foglia, frutto, frut, rosso, rosso, seieste, celeste, zaio, zalo, zal, verde, verdu, verde, bianco, moro, negro, nome, di, notte, an, sol, soie, sole, luna, iuna, stelle, stelle, fogo, acqua, aria, aere, terra, ciel, mar, montanha, fogo, bosque, senestro, dritto, dretta, mesaria, e, se, parquet, vecchio, novo, nuovo, nio, jovem, jovene, giovane, torzo, smolsar, dose, se tu bom da farmi un favor?
The Lord's Prayer.
El Padre nostro. In nome del Padre, e del Figlio, e del Spirito Santo. Amen. Padre nostro, che te si in te siei, che il sia santificato il tuo nome, che il venga il tuo regno, che se fai a tua volontà, tanto in cielo come fa in terra. Il pan nostro quotidiano, dale ancora, e desmettone i nostri debiti, come che gli altri che gli desmettiamo i nostri debitori, e non sta indurne in tentazione, ma de Ibarne, Dalmaia, Amen.
Sample text.
Pontego, El Vangel San Marco, te, Fernando Menegatti, El Vangel Marco. Esuan, els era vestio de pele gambel, e com igas de escapin intorno a sua banda, e el manhã saiok e boltaque, e el predegueia dizendo, dopo de mi, el ne vien quel que els epi tres de mi, que son mio denho de, sgobando-me, desolhar, ias, te sois trei. Mi, da sen, veco batizar com aqua, ma el saraiu a batizar-ve col Espírito Santo. Els eucoreste instidi que Iosu, enviando-se da Nazaret, de a Galileia, es está batizar de João tel Jordão.